Scene 1 of a love story establishes itself as a quiet, aching meditation on how love often arrives not as a planned destination, but as an interruption to carefully constructed solitude, especially for women who have learned to survive by staying inside their own heads. Bella's decision to live the great American novel, if she wants to write it, is framed not as romantic bravado but as creative desperation, a recognition that observation from a distance has limits, and that safety can become a cage. Her first encounter with Scarlett, leaning against a car with coffee in hand, unfolds with casual realism rather than cinematic flourish, grounding their connection in happenstance and small talk rather than destiny. Scarlett's request for a light, immediately undercut by Bella's non-smoking and Scarlett's own desire to quit, becomes a subtle metaphor for the entire relationship, a moment where needs don't align in the expected way, yet something gentler and more honest takes its place. From the beginning, Scarlett's flirtation is playful but not aggressive, signaling curiosity rather than conquest, while Bella's offer of a place to crash in exchange for domestic companionship reveals her yearning for connection filtered through practicality, a way to justify closeness without admitting vulnerability. This dynamic resonates deeply with queer audiences, especially lesbians who recognize how often intimacy is negotiated indirectly, softened into arrangements that feel safer than outright desire. Inside Bella's home, the tension between creation and exposure comes into focus when she opens her laptop to work on her novel, visibly uncomfortable with being seen in the act of trying, a moment many women can relate to in a world that often judges effort more harshly than detachment. Scarlett's interest in the writing, and her preference for romance stories, contrasts with Bella's more guarded literary ambitions, exposing a fault line between emotional expression and intellectual defense. When Scarlett suggests that Bella might need to leave her comfort zone and try writing about love, Bella's reaction is not simple defensiveness but fear, because love requires presence, and presence risks loss. The scene delicately captures how queer women in particular are often taught to keep desire theoretical, to intellectualize feelings rather than inhabit them, especially when cultural narratives still frame lesbian love as either spectacle or phase rather than lived truth. Later, as Bella struggles with writer's block, Scarlett's attempt to help is understated and intimate, rooted in encouragement rather than seduction, and the slow lean into a kiss feels earned precisely because it grows out of shared frustration and mutual recognition. The film resists sensationalizing this moment, instead allowing it to exist as a quiet crossing of a line that had already been emotionally breached. Scarlett's departure afterward leaves Bella alone not in abandonment, but in awakening, forced to sit with the realization that what she has felt cannot be undone or neatly categorized. The following day, when they lie in bed together and Bella describes her book, the mirroring between fiction and reality becomes explicit, underscoring how art often lags behind lived experience, catching up only after the heart has already leapt. The fact that the characters in Bella's story resemble the two of them speaks to how writers frequently process desire retroactively, translating feeling into language once it is already in motion. Their shared affection in this moment is tender rather than triumphant, marked by a softness that reflects emotional safety rather than certainty. Scarlett's eventual revelation that she is leaving fractures this fragile equilibrium, not because it is cruel but because it is honest, reminding viewers that not all connections are meant to last, even when they are real. This ending challenges the persistent discomfort society has with seeing women love each other without guarantees, without permanence, without punishment, or moral framing. Instead of portraying heartbreak as consequence, the film treats it as an inherent risk of authenticity, something that does not invalidate the love that preceded it. Bella embodies the woman who has learned to observe life rather than live it, while Scarlett represents motion, possibility, and the courage to leave even when staying would be easier emotionally. Their interaction mirrors real-world pressures on queer women to minimize relationships that are brief, to dismiss them as experiments or muses rather than meaningful experiences. Yet the film insists that significance is not measured by duration. For lesbian viewers, this story resonates as a reflection of first loves, creative awakenings, and the painful truth that visibility often comes hand in hand with loss. For women more broadly, it speaks to the universal tension between safety and growth, between staying protected and risking transformation. By centering emotional intimacy rather than spectacle, a love story affirms that women's connections deserve to be seen as complex, formative, and worthy of narrative weight, even when they do not end neatly. In allowing Bella to be heartbroken but changed, the film makes a quiet but powerful argument. Love does not need to last forever to be true, and becoming visible, even briefly, can reshape who we are and what we dare to write next. Scene 2 of a love story shifts the film from romantic rupture into the quieter, harder work of rebuilding, tracing how heartbreak reshapes identity and how unexpected connection can reopen doors without erasing the past. 4 months after Scarlett's departure, Bella is no longer chasing the novel she once believed would define her, instead working as a cleaning lady, a choice that visually and emotionally underscores how grief often collapses ambition into survival. Her meeting with Lainey, a wealthy yet gentle woman, immediately reframes power. Despite the economic imbalance, Lainey treats Bella with curiosity rather than condescension, sitting with her, asking about her writing, and expressing genuine interest in the person beneath the uniform. For queer viewers, this dynamic resonates as a familiar hope that intimacy can exist outside traditional hierarchies, and that being seen does not require performing confidence or success. Bella's initial reluctance to tour the house mirrors her guarded interior state, as though moving through Lainey's open, sunlit rooms risks exposure she is not ready to face. When Lainey later reads Bella's work and offers not only praise but space, inviting her to use the spare bedroom to write, the gesture becomes symbolic shelter rather than rescue. Support offered without ownership. Bella's agreement marks a tentative step back toward believing her voice matters, even as her relationship to her writing remains fragile. The scene wisely acknowledges how creative wounds linger. When Lainey critiques Bella's newer pages as lacking her authentic voice and gently suggests she may need to move on from Scarlet, Bella's reaction is defensive and raw, reflecting how women are often taught that letting go means betrayal of feeling rather than growth through it. Her anger is not about Lainey's opinion, but about the terror of releasing the last tangible connection to love that once made her feel alive. That night, when Lainey finds Bella tearing up her pages, the image is devastatingly intimate, portraying self-sabotage as a form of grief, a moment many women recognize when pain convinces them to destroy the very thing that once offered purpose. Lainey's apology is quiet and accountable, acknowledging harm without retreating, and her confession that she wants to be with Bella is delivered without pressure, allowing desire to exist alongside uncertainty. Bella's admission that she does not truly want what she had with Scarlet anymore is not dismissal but differentiation, a realization that longing can evolve without vanishing. Their kiss unfolds as an extension of mutual recognition rather than conquest, a slow warming built from trust, consent, and shared vulnerability, challenging the cultural impulse to frame intimacy between women as either explosive or taboo. By keeping the moment grounded in emotional exchange rather than spectacle, the film asserts that queer love does not need excess to be compelling. Symbolically, Lainey represents possibility rooted in stability, someone who offers presence without demanding erasure of the past, while Bella embodies the fear and bravery of starting again when one's heart is still tender. This interaction mirrors real-world pressures on queer women to justify new love as replacement rather than expansion, to rush healing narratives for social comfort. Society's discomfort with such scenes persists because they refuse to punish women for desire or require male validation, instead centering women choosing each other with intention. The scene suggests that love after loss is not about proving strength, but allowing softness to return. Whether this connection becomes a lasting love story is left deliberately open, honoring the truth that authenticity matters more than certainty. In letting Bella be seen not as fixed or finished but becoming, the film offers a quietly radical message. Starting over is not forgetting. It is choosing to remain open, even when doing so feels terrifyingly human. It also speaks directly to viewers who have rebuilt themselves after betrayal, reminding them that care can arrive, quietly, through listening, patience, and shared silences. For lesbians especially, the scene affirms that desire does not expire after heartbreak, and that wanting again is not weakness, but courage. Lainey's steady presence contrasts with Scarlet's transience, not as judgment but as timing, underscoring that love meets us differently depending on where we are willing to stand. Bella's journey from isolation to connection mirrors the broader queer experience of learning that safety and passion need not be opposites. By ending the scene without certainty, the film trusts its audience to honor ambiguity, a rare gift in stories about women loving women. It invites viewers to sit with tenderness, to believe that beginnings can be gentle, and to accept that some love stories are defined not by permanence, but by the bravery to open the door again. This is not fantasy, but recognition, a portrait of women choosing visibility even when the future remains unwritten, and finding meaning in the act of trying.